And actually, I would like to start by thanking Alistair, as well as Ed, and the whole amazing team for putting together this conference. Let's give them a round of applause. Launchpad. As we learned yesterday, data is the new oil. The companies you'll be learning about are the refineries that make sense and that, in this perspective here, help businesses actually benefit from this new ecosystem. Think Amazon way back and think how our behavior has changed based as end users, based on what Amazon offers. The same is now happening with big data and with the cloud. I want to help you frame the companies which are coming on stage in a couple of minutes. How does the disruption, that sea change or that tsunami that changed the landscape actually affect businesses? So we now know that startups are dramatically different, much leaner. You can start by using the cloud without having to buy rack space. But how does that propagate to big companies? How do these cost savings, if you will, get passed along? So these are three examples which we'll be giving. The first one is a company called Datadog, which thinks about how can we break down the silos, the data silos in traditional companies. In my consulting, one of the standard things I hear is that, gee, we have all this data, but they're in different parts of the company. We know there's some value to it if we only knew how to unleash that value. People hide behind technological barriers which are now, due to the startups, are being removed. So the mindset of people in big companies needs to change. They have to realize that it is organizational decisions, just as we discussed yesterday, societal decisions, which need to be made after those technological barriers are disappearing. We will see in Datadog that it really is about a conversation with the data, a dialogue with the data, no longer just a one-way chart. And what that means for companies is that the cycle time between coming up with an idea and seeing what it does has dropped by orders of magnitude. Just like in Amazon's case, how the cycle time for marketing experiments dropped from months to minutes. The second company, iChart, looks at scarcities that have disappeared by looking at public data, social data, and commercially available data. Think the real estate market, Trulia, Zillow. Think the legal market like Westlaw, of companies that take data that are kind of publicly available, but they refine them. They are these refineries, which make it possible for companies to have access to those data. How does that change the behavior of people in big organizations? And the third company you'll be learning about this morning is Fanbridge, a beautiful example of doing experiments and having a set of metrics for engagement that allows, in this case, artists to interact and to stir, if you will, to manipulate or to inform, whichever word you like, their fan base. So I hope that you'll enjoy those three pitches, and I want you to look at them as three examples of that tidal wave that is now propagating on to large companies. So shall we bring out the first of them?
And let's bring out our first of the three pitches. Guys from Datadog up first. Thanks, Andreas.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olivier. This is Alexis. We are Datadog, and we make looking at your operational data as easy as using Twitter or Facebook. So running an application at scale is really, really hard. First of all, there are lots of people that need to get involved, from development and operation teams. And then there's this whole ecosystem of tools and services we need to use in order to do our jobs. So each of these tools and services is going to generate significant amounts of data, and they will all come with a management dashboard that looks a lot like this. And as I said, I'm using a number of these tools, so what I really end up looking at the end of the day is a collection of dashboards. That's a lot to look at. And each of these tools is really designed for one person to sit in the cockpit. It's really one pilot to look at the dials and press the buttons. Yet, as we've seen, quite a few people need to get involved. In fact, most of these people are developers, and they don't really know what these dials mean, what these screens are, what they mean, where they are, whether they exist in the first place. So things get really, really, really messy. People don't know where to look. There's too much data in too many places. Things go wrong. Developers start hating people in operations and vice versa. Tons of efforts are being wasted. Systems fail, and it's costing billions of dollars to US companies already. It's only going to get worse as cloud services multiply. So we've lived through this pain, and we started Datadog to address it. The first thing we do is aggregate all of this data. So we will connect to all of these tools and all of these services, whether they are behind a firewall or on the cloud, and we will bring all the metrics, events, and metadata into Datadog. You can see on the screen a few examples of sources that we support in our internal development environments. Now, what's really cool about that is that you can finally see all your data on one screen in context with the same scale. So that's pretty nice. But dashboards only go so far. The most important thing we do now with this data is make it visible across teams. And we do this with a rich interactive stream of information. Everyone today uses Facebook or Twitter, and we use exactly the same metaphors. So from this one stream, you can update a ticket, you can share a graph, you can reply to an alert. It's all really straightforward, all in one place. Finally, beyond making data visible, we also make it relevant. Every single data point in Datadog can be tagged. And we do a lot of that automatically when we bring your data in, but you can also augment it in any way you see fit. Once you've done that, just as you would on Twitter, you can decide which of these tags or which of your servers or which of your coworkers you want to follow. And you'll just see this information from the one. So this is Datadog, and we think it's pretty amazing, by the way. So, a few words about us. I'm a developer. I wrote the first version of VLC in the late 90s. Alexei is an ops guy, and we spent the best of the past decade building an amazing ops and dev team for a company in New York called Wireless Generation, dealing with student data. The product is live. We are accepting new users, so please join us. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Andreas, what do you think? Does this have applications outside of IT?
Well, I think it's pretty amazing how they enable companies to have a conversation with the data, to look at stuff. Personally, I don't know whether the Facebook metaphor is the metaphor which is the best way to interact with data. I love the notion that anybody in the organization can annotate any piece of data, because collaboration on data, it's not just the discourse with the data and just not the conversation with the data, but it's also, as DJ just beautifully said yesterday, it is having, or day before yesterday, having a couple of pairs of eyes look at data, you just simply see more.
And when I see that interface, I can think of a web analytics team, for example, or the Salesforce talking about its pipeline or talking about traffic on the website and annotating it and having that conversation within data. So that paradigm, if it can move across verticals, is very interesting. Our next presenter is a company called iChart. Come on out, guys. They're going to give us a quick background on what they do.
His name is Seymour, and Seymour means that we will see more. There we are.
Oh, I see. Seymour iCharts. I see what you did there. Bad puns early in the morning. Seymour, go ahead.
I'm Seymour Danke, the CEO and founder of iCharts. This year we will be adding...
Seymour, right in front of you. There.
Oh, there. We will be adding 1.8 zettabytes. That's 1.8 trillion gigabytes of information. Actually, this number is doubling every 2 years. This is exactly what this conference is about, but this conference is also has been very much about data visualization. The question that I have is, how do you bring this up to scale? How do you take all of that data and turn that into charts that all of us can understand? Wouldn't we all love to see all of that data in great-looking charts on the internet? Wouldn't all of you journalists love to have it really simple to add interactive charts, those charts, to your articles? Wouldn't the big data owners who own that data in those charts love to have all of our eyeballs to see their brand? Well, that's not happening today. The big data owners are actually sharing a lot of data today, but they have virtually no control over their brand. The media, dwindling resources, ever under pressure, have no time to create that content, and we consumers, we are demanding more and more information every day. Luckily, what is required is a platform that ties all those three worlds together. iCharts provides that platform. Our vision is to create and share, to empower the world to create and share interactive charts. Big data owners, we enable big data owners to extend their brand. We enable the media to add visual content to the articles. And us consumers, we get more to share. iCharts provides an online service that makes it really simple for big data owners to create interactive charts, brand the data, share those charts, and get the feedback who's looking at that data. We also have a free service that allows all of us consumers to clip and save those charts into our accounts and use them whenever we need that. We're adding thousands of users at this point. That's a win-win-win situation for big data owners who can capture millions of brand impressions they haven't been able to do today. Journalists who get great content virtually at no extra effort, and all of us consumers, we get even better facts to share. How does this work? We are actually implementing this vision as we speak. Comscore, the leader in online digital data measurement, issues round about 30 press releases every month. All of those press releases are either text-based or at most have tables in them. We are enabling them to add interactive charts to all of those press releases, reaching thousands of journalists out there that can making their life simple to easily add that content to their articles. On day one of the trials that we ran with Comscore, they measured a 4x increase in traffic using this kind of a technology. Our key capabilities are we understand how to process large amounts of data, and we understand how to churn out rich interactive charts that can proliferate across the web. That's iCharts.net, data insights made social. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Seymour. So, Andreas, I wrote something yesterday on infographics being the new stump speech. Infographics are the new press release?
Well, it's not just the press release in the sense that just something gets sent out through potential new channels. What I like about iCharts is the interactivity, which allows potential people to collaborate. So this collaboration aspect, which we also had in Datadog, that now basically everybody can contribute and more is emerging than the one-sided conversation which we had before, is actually pretty cool here.
Right.
Now, what is interesting is what the effect is on brand, that people should realize that straw companies had, that they, enable people to make better decisions by having a brand value, that's gone. They don't own their brand anymore. And I think in the last of the 3 startups this morning, we will see how companies and artists are trying to get their brand back.
Absolutely. Nice segue. Well done. All right. Let's bring out the guys from Fanbridge for the last of the 3 startups you're going to see this morning to hear about how artists are going to connect with their audiences.
AJ.
So it's a widely stated rule of internet culture that 99% of web engagement is focused on the 1% who create content. This 1% is dominated by traditional media such as musicians, athletes, filmmakers, as well as new media such as YouTube celebrities and bloggers. All of these influencers are interested in building out their brand and their touch points across the web. Today, Fanbridge services about 150,000 of these influencers, some of whom are the largest musicians in the world. Most of our traction is in music right now. The music industry has been forced to be on the cutting edge of direct-to-fan marketing, and they've learned the lessons of MySpace. MySpace is a closed platform where the musician does not own the fan relationship, and that fan relationship is an asset. It restricts communication, it restricts the data that they have access to. And so and MySpace ultimately became less relevant. So it puts increased emphasis on having a direct line to the consumer, like an email address and a mobile phone number. And also verticals span. Fan relationship management is important across verticals, and the needs of fan relationship are fairly similar, whereas the needs for something like e-commerce is not as similar. So the Fanbridge platform is based upon that fan relationship. We provide communication tools, creative marketing tools, and analytics to encourage what we call smart social programming, oriented around high-quality content that's well-targeted to fans. So we enable that smart social programming with a balance of sort of an art and science. On the art side, we have a wisdom of crowds sort of approach where we enable client-driven A/B testing and very flexible tools that enable very creative marketers to take creative risks and enjoy a wider array of outcomes. This leads to spikes in data around what we call engagement nodes. An engagement node can be an individual piece of content, an individual fan, a group of fans, an individual broadcast like an email, or something a little more complex like a snapshot of email sending pattern over time. This leads to the science approach where more access to data, more computation across data, more storage of data has proven to give us a better ability to project the value that something like an individual piece of content has to an individual fan, or an individual fan has to an individual influencer, and broader trends across that. So that leads to more historically backed engagement performance that leads to higher ROI for the influencer content and deeper fan relationships. Today, I have to go back. Slide. Back two, sorry. Can I
go back 2 slides, please?
Okay. Today, Fanbridge powers 120 email subscriptions, 120 million email subscriptions, 250 million Facebook fans, and about 80 million Twitter followers, and we're adding more daily. As far as the team, early last year, Fanbridge raised a Series A and acquired a company that I founded called Damn the Radio, which was a Facebook fan page CMS. Both before the Series A, Fanbridge and Damn the Radio were both cash flow positive in subscription revenue from artists, giving them access to our tools. Today, we're pursuing opportunities across verticals and in new revenue models that are more conducive to high-quality content, such as high CPM email display advertising. All right. So, thank you.
All right, thanks. So, Andreas, there's products like CodeTweet or Hootsuite that let you manage your relationship across a particular platform like a Twitter. Here, we're seeing a spread across many different platforms, mail and so on with opt-in, but also, I saw a T-shirt. Like it's not just a tweet. It's here's a T-shirt I'm pushing out or whatever. And so it does seem to me like this becomes an engagement platform across all kinds of channels, e-commerce channels. You saw not just I have a song for you or a picture for you, but would you like to buy this new clothing? So you become it's a retail store in a single tweet. That's a pretty disruptive model for traditional e-commerce.
It has one aspect of social commerce. The other aspect is, of course, that the people-mediated aspect. So I think, I don't know the stats for music, what percentage is actually, do they call it paraphernalia, like T-shirts, or is not the right word?
Yeah, paraphernalia, that's pretty fair.
So it's a significant part, the clothing people sell. But what we see here is really that the key question is that of incentives. How do they get people to participate, to contribute, to collaborate? I could think about companies that allow, like Zazzle, for instance, to actually people design T-shirts on their platform and then sell them.
Yeah, getting that interaction and sort of creating a feedback loop of content. But I do see, if I'm an artist, if I can sell my own merchandise, paraphernalia, if I can also book my own concert tickets and sell them through this channel, I've pretty much circumvented everyone from Ticketmaster to Clear Channel to the T-shirt store, right?
And more importantly, you can experiment. They have a good set of metrics in place, and they understand the trade-offs between these metrics, the equations of the artist, basically, the artist's business. And now empowering the artist to directly try out stuff, that is what's new. No longer going to an agent who says, trust me, I know how to talk to the DJs, so they play it as often as needed. But empowering the artist to actually do this, that's where my appreciation for a startup lies.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much for helping us navigate this. Really appreciate you spending some time today. It's obviously, social data revolution is affecting lots of companies, so really appreciate you helping us with it.
Thank you for doing a great job.